Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pash On Podcast. Let's get started with your host, Brian Pash.
Thank you for joining me today on this podcast. And today I want to talk about content marketing and how dealers should think about the investment in custom content to their website. You know, most dealers don't realize that their websites have very little relevant static content. Dealers who are trying to drive more engaged shoppers to their website are forcing paid advertising campaigns to pages that don't have enough content to answer common consumer questions. When you think of a typical dealership website, and let's exclude search engine results pages, SRPs, and let's exclude VDPs. The average dealership website in the United States has very little basic static content. But here's 10 common static content pages. And when I say static content, I'm saying it doesn't change or disappear when a car is sold. So obviously the home page, their hours and directions page, a page for customer reviews, their staff page, a service specials page, a new car specials page, a used car specials page. Maybe there's a new car configurator or showroom page, a page on OEM warranties like Toyota Care, and maybe a CPO page and what's involved with the CPO program. Outside of that, that's 10 pages. Stop and think about how many static pages are on your website. I bet if you took the time, you'd find out that there's less than 20 static pages. And don't count your framed in or iframed forms. For example, on most dealership websites, they're still using iframed forms for finance applications, service appointment forms like Xtime, maybe a trade-in tool. Those all are invisible to Google. An iframe, everything that's in the iframe is invisible to Google search engines. So when you eliminate your finance application and your service appointment form and your trade-in appraisal form, if they're iframed, you're not left with very many static pages. And in fact, an average dealer may have hundreds of VDPs or vehicles in stock, but those pages die every 30 to 90 days as inventory is turned. So when you look at the total website, when you look at the number of pages that Google has indexed, you're going to find out that the majority of the pages live and die over a very short cycle. And what's left? Maybe 1, 2, 3% of the website is static content. You know, I go back in time when I first spoke at the first digital dealer conference I was invited to. I told attendees in my workshop that they needed to hire a content writer. I think I was ahead of my peers at that time because here 10 years later, most dealerships still lack sufficient content to answer the questions that consumers have regarding new cars or used cars or warranties or leasing or recommended maintenance. If you've invested in useful content for consumers on your website, well, you know that generates additional engagement opportunities. Great content increases organic traffic. It increases conversions. And more importantly, all of this content today can be shared on social media, used in AdWords campaigns, and even in your CRM sales process. I want everyone who's listening to today's podcast to step back and really count how many static pages of good consumer-facing content is on your website. I want you to understand that if you're going to change your strategy, if you finally realize that, well, the reason why my organic rankings are so poor is that I don't have any relevant content for today's shopper, well, you're going to want to start adding pages of content to your website. But before you do that, you need to think about organizing the content in a directory tree. Dealers change their websites every 18 to 24 months. So if you build 100 custom content pages over the next year and then change your website provider, man, you want to make it easy to move those content pages over to the new platform. So I suggest that you create a folder off the root directory of your website. You could call it content or custom. And then below that, a subdirectory for service, new, used, warranty, parts, accessories, community, testimonials, staff. You get the idea. The key here is that when you change website platforms, you could tell the new website provider, look, all of the pages under /content/ are custom pages, and in your cut over, you need to bring this content over and move it into your CMS. Now, where do you get started? I'm going to give you a couple suggestions, but each dealer who's listening to today's podcast needs to have a content roadmap. Get a calendar together of the content that you're going to add to your website through internal creation or using an outsourced service. But here's a few ideas. What are the top 20 questions that consumers ask when they buy a car? Or what are the 20 most common questions they ask in the service drive? I bet if you asked your sales managers or service advisors this question, they'd give you a list right away. And just understand this. If consumers are asking your staff these questions, it means that they probably didn't find the answer on your website, or they didn't find it on Google search. Do you understand how simple this is? Is your factory warranty page really that clear? Is your value package, what consumers get when they buy a car from you, very clear? Do they really understand the difference between lease and finance and how a down payment impacts their monthly payment? Have you given them the opportunity to pay twice a month instead of once a month to pay off their car earlier? I mean, these are all great content discussions. Of course, some of you are thinking, well, how to pair your phone to a Ford F-150 or how to pair your phone to a Ford Explorer. Sure, those are all great pages. But what you may find is, well, some of the content could apply to multiple models. So you don't have to create a Bluetooth pairing page for every Ford model. If the sync system is effectively the same across all models, create one page and make sure you mention that it applies to most Ford models. So when you think of the questions that consumers ask, this would be a great place to start building content. You know, years ago, when I first started my business in 2005, I was focused absolutely on SEO. That's what I came into the market with. And in 2009, I created the ASMA Awards, which were the Automotive Search Marketing Award. And this award was just focused on the SEO strength of popular websites used by auto dealers. Today, the ASMA Awards are really the AWA Awards because the scope has now moved past just SEO. We're talking about CRM and marketing, social media, multi-channel marketing solutions, and well, the whole list goes on. Over 57 detailed products were reviewed, and dealers can download a free copy of the PDF book by visiting awa.autos. It's also available in print in full color, which is the ultimate buyer's guide for automotive technology. The reason why I bring this up, very early in my career, I was very focused on content and SEO. And I guess over the years, other things have, well, distracted dealers on that very, very basic principle that Google will serve up websites based on the relevance of the content that's indexed and the keywords or the intent that the consumer has. And don't be so concerned about duplicate content. Keep in mind, every Toyota dealership has a page about Toyota Care, and it's probably the same text on every Toyota dealership's website. Google's not penalizing Toyota dealers from listing the approved language from the Toyota Care program. Remember, OEMs have tremendous amount of content, specifications, how-to guides. You can use that content and customize it for delivery on your local website. So don't get distracted by digital sharks who are trying to tell you that, wow, 1,000 dealers have this one sentence on their website and your SEO is going to crash. Well, no, it's very common that In a franchise network, whether you're Subway or Pizza Hut or a Toyota dealer, there's going to be sentences that are mandatory or the same across all website platforms. Your key on knowing if your content is really working is two simple tests. Number one, would you share the page of content on your personal Facebook or Twitter page? I mean, if the content looks horrible, if it's written poorly, would you share it on your social media sites? Probably not. You'd be embarrassed. So as long as the content passes the social test. Number two, how does the content look on a mobile device? If the content looks great on a mobile phone and it's good content that you would share, then make more of that stuff. Now, let me give you a quick little checklist to help you move down the path on creating an effective content marketing strategy, which will help SEO, which will power better social media campaigns. So here's a quick little checklist of 7 items. Number 1, create a list of any custom content that's already been created on your website, and then keep this list on file when you decide to change your website providers. Number 2, update your internal training documents on how new website pages should be created and stored in these new directories. Feel free to use the recommended names that I've provided or create your own. Number 3, share your list of website content directories with your ad agencies or your SEO agency. Require them to comply with all your strategy to save any new content in the directory trees. Number 4, create a content marketing calendar. Create a goal for the number of pages that you want created each month. List the topics for each page based on those common questions that consumers ask during their buyer's journey or based on keyword research in your local market. Number 5, get additional content ideas from your service advisors based on common questions that consumers ask about their vehicle. Number 6, include video in your content marketing strategy. Keep in mind that video content is very easy to absorb on a mobile device, and it's the preferred way that people like to learn about the services that you offer at the dealership. And last, number 7, leverage your content pages, these custom pages, in your CRM email templates. Use these pages to provide additional information to consumers who are asking questions of your BDC team or your sales team. Dealers who invest in content will set their website apart from their peers who are on the same technology platform. Dealers who invest in a content marketing strategy will see an increase in high quality, organic traffic and referral traffic to their websites. So what are you waiting for? SEO is still an effective way to drive high quality traffic to your website. In fact, when you look at all the traffic channels to a dealer's website, the number 1 most engaged channel is from your Google My Business page, from people clicking on that visit website button. Guess what? That shows up every single time someone searches for the dealership name. And it comes up most times when people are searching for an OEM brand in a city. The key here is when you see how high quality organic traffic is, well, it should supercharge your priorities to make sure that every month you're adding at least 10 new pages of content. So by the end of the year, you start to have more content that is static than content that's continually dying as you sell your new and used cars. Of course, if you have any questions on automotive SEO strategies, you may want to pick up my book, Mastering Automotive Digital Marketing. It's the complete reference guide on automotive digital marketing and designed specifically for the strategies that will help our dealers succeed in a digital age. In closing, I want to remind all listeners about 2 amazing conferences that we run each year. One is the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference, and this year, 2018, we're having it once again in the Napa Valley on June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The DMSC conference is an amazing destination for dealers to really assess their whole digital marketing strategy, learn the latest strategies that are helping dealers sell more cars, and work with their peers and industry leaders in an intimate setting. We cap it at about 100 dealership managers. So we're in a great place with the top thought leaders and CEOs of technology companies, and we work with the dealers to really help them improve. And then in the fall is the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit, also known as AAAS. This year, we're excited. It's November 18, 19, and 20 at the beautiful Breakers Hotel in Palm Beach, Florida. This conference is not 101. This is for dealers who are advanced in their thinking on digital marketing, who want to use data as a strategic asset, want to learn how to measure their marketing to know what's working to drive showroom traffic. And of course, this super applies to larger dealer groups who are spending millions of dollars on advertising and are looking ways to cut costs but still increase their sales. And of course, the AAAS is a unique conference for that high level and detailed conversation for people who care about digital marketing, marketing automation, sales attribution, and data and analytics. So 2 conferences for 2 groups of people, and I hope to see you at one of these conferences in the days ahead. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast, and I'll talk to you next week on another podcast session.